Hey everybody, it's Friday early afternoon and it's been about 24 hours since I set my crayfish slash minnow trap out, and we're about to just go on down the street and check it out and see what we got in there. My goal is to get crayfish or some Rosyside Dace, or a combination of the two. If we look right here without spooking him, if you see this fish with that just turned around, he's got that bright red marking on the side. That is the fish I'm talking about. It's a Rosyside Dace, and it is absolutely beautiful little fish, and they're apparently pretty plentiful in the stream we're getting ready to go down to. It's called Murphy's Run, and if I can get more of them in here, I'm going to be really happy about it. That's what I'm hoping to catch today. Otherwise, I'm really not interested in collecting any more minnows that I get from the stream. Anything I get from down there is going to be stuff we've already got in here. Now, I guess if I found something really interesting, I might put it in there. I have caught little baby sunfish down there before. I don't know if I would really be willing to put a baby sunfish in here. Might be worth it for a while. I can always take it out later once it starts getting big enough to become aggressive, but that would be a guarantee that I'd have to be taking it out at some point if I put another sunfish in here, so probably not going to do that. At any rate, I'm trying to get crayfish to go in here. I've been looking around all morning, and I've not yet seen any signs of crayfish in this tank, so I really do believe they're all gone. I don't think there's any crayfish left in this tank at all, and hopefully when we get down and check out the trap, it'll be full of crayfish. This is the first time I've put it out for the year. It's still kind of early. I have seen crayfish out. I have seen minnows out swimming about, so it's possible that we'll go down there and find that thing full of them. But you never know. At any rate, we're going to get on down there, so give me 2 seconds and I'll see you on down the street. Alright everybody, we're off. It's not very springtimey out yet, but the top of the driveway's got all of the forsythia in bloom right now, so I thought I would at least start videoing for the beginning of the journey. We've got all of about a 1.5-minute drive, maybe 2 minutes if I take my time till we get down to the end of the street. So I will see you down there. Alright, here we are. Now, as long as nobody messed with it, the trap is in the water right over there, but we're actually going to start off by heading up this way. It's a little breezy out, so I hope you can hear me over the wind, but it's a really warm day out, so we're going to actually make our way up the stream a little bit. Now, I mentioned all these little yellow flowers the other day, and I don't know what they are, but they basically just carpet everything. I guess this is probably what I called a buttercup when I was a kid, but whatever they are, they're really pretty and bright and cheery, and they just go on forever. They carpet the floor of the woods around here. So we are just gonna find a decent spot to make my way down without killing myself. All right. I can see some small minnows darting around, but nothing too serious. This whole thing is new from over the winter. This tree here has been here. Just saw one of those little fish. I always call it a sculpin, but I'm not sure if it's actually a sculpin or not. It's a weird little bottom fish. Boy, this has all been scoured clean. You can see all the yellow flowers everywhere. It's really pretty. I love getting out in the woods this time of year. Again, I'm just seeing little minnows darting around here and there. There's a little school of them out there, but that's all of the little, there's some type of Natropus species. They're the ones I've got in the tank that have the dark stripe down their side. They're not the creek chubs, but they're those other little ones. So I can see a million of them out there. And it looks like there's a few creek chubs mixed in with them, but I don't see any flashes of red or bright color, so we're going to keep on going. If I can get through all this gunk. I hate walking through this stuff. There's a little hole up here that usually has some decent fish in it, so let's try to get to that. See, if you're a regular viewer of mine, the last time you came down here with me, all of this was green and lush, and it probably looked like we were back in the middle of nowhere, but the road's right there. And there's a little spring that flows in up here. I can always hear it, but I can never see it. So now that the leaves aren't on everything right now, we'll take a chance and we'll see if we can walk up there and see where that little spring flows in. So likewise, I'm seeing some fish, but it looks like it's all of those dace. Okay, now there's definitely some flashes of blue out there. Not many, but I can definitely see some flashes of blue out there. And there's a little crayfish right there. He's gonna dart right back under that rock he's sitting in front of. There he goes. Well, we've at least got one little crayfish for the day. So this little hole in here usually has a bunch of minnows too. Look, there's a whole bunch of them right there, and I can see lots of blue in there. So that actually looks like a whole school of those Rosyside Dace, but I can't really get to them. They're underneath all this. This is a big sticker bush. I've tried before. That's a nightmare. What we can do is put the minnow trap out right in here, and hopefully, look, there's a whole school of them in there. Oh, I'm so tempted to try this. Let's see if we can do it. Nope, as soon as I move, they all go right back under those branches. That's just going to be an exercise in frustration, so let's forget about that for the moment. Make our way through here. And you can kind of see the water flowing through there a little bit. It's like a little stream that flows in and flows down into there. So this actually looks like a pretty good spot to put a trap out too. But I can't go too much further up because I don't have permission to go on that person's property, and I'm not exactly sure where the property line ends right here, so I never really go past. This is kind of my stopping point with this big tree here, and nobody's complained, so feel like I'm pretty much on safe grounds. So back here, I know that house up there is who owns all this property we're down on now. And I have his permission to be here, so I'm not worried about that. If you can see these little tracks, these are all raccoon prints. So if you're wondering about my footwear and how my feet are not freezing in this water, I'll take a moment to tell you about that, because I absolutely love my Velocity shoes and my sealskin socks. The combination of the two is awesome. I spent forever looking for a pair of knee-high boots that were waterproof, that would allow me to hike around and, you know, walk on rocks and stuff. I know you can buy, you know, a pair of wellies that come up to your knees or something like that, but I wanted, you know, boots, rugged hiking type boots, and I could just never find anything that worked. And eventually I found a combination of the NRS Velocity shoe, and it's a shoe that's made for water sports like kayaking and canoeing. Very lightweight, it drains easily, doesn't keep your foot dry. It's not a waterproof shoe, but it's meant for hiking in wet terrain. They're just fantastic. And then the socks I'm wearing are waterproof, and they go all the way up to my knees, and they're thick and they're cushy and they're comfortable like hiking socks. They're windproof and they are totally waterproof.
So all this walking around I'm doing is essentially, my feet are bone dry and toasty warm. I absolutely love my sealskin socks, and of course the combination of the Velocity shoe and the sealskin socks together is just, you can't beat it. So if I sound like a commercial, you're halfway right, because I will put a link down below and you can check them out. And if you do purchase them through that link, I'll actually get a couple of pennies from that. So if you are going to buy them, please go and do it through that link. But personally, I'm just ranting on and on about them because I love them so much. Alright, I think we're going to climb up on these rocks rather than try to go up in the mud. And the socks are so thick and spongy that the water sort of gets trapped in the material, and it sort of acts like a wetsuit. The water that's trapped in the foamy sock material gets insulated and warmed by your foot, and then your feet just stay warm even though the water is outside the sock and your foot stays completely dry. So I'm sure before the summer's out you'll hear me ranting on and on about them some more because I absolutely love them. Alright, I can see some minnows in there already. Lots of minnows in there. Let's see what we got. We got one of those little sculpin things. This is fat and pregnant, whatever it is. So she's going to go back. Oop! Alright, she's fine. I'll keep that little sculpin thing, and then it looks like everything else in here is just a creek chub. Pretty little things, but I got a bunch of them already. So we don't need any more of them yet. That's another creek chub. That looks like a pregnant creek chub. So we got one of those little sculpin looking fish and one little tiny crayfish. So we've still got some dog biscuit left. Let's go ahead and get this back together. For now we're just gonna put it back in right here. I guess I should have got this first and then we could have reset it up there somewhere, but we'll do that tomorrow. We'll go ahead and leave that there today and we'll come back tomorrow. We'll get that first, and then if I want to throw it back out, we can walk it up the stream and put it out there. So sit tight. I'll see y'all back at the fish tank. Alright, and here we are back at the tank. So I don't know how well we're going to be able to see these while they're still in their little container here. We're probably not going to be able to see much more than the silhouette, if we can even see that apparently. So that's the little sculpin-y looking fish, whatever that is. I always call it a sculpin. Again, we're not really getting a good look at it. So we're just going to go ahead and pour it into the tank, and if it settles in somewhere reasonably light, we should be able to get a decent look at it that way. Wow, I can't believe how quite fast those fish came up and nipped at that crayfish. It's not really in the light enough for the camera to pick it up, at least clearly. We're trying. Alright, it's not going to cooperate.
Well, I've never had a ton of luck with these fish. They never seem to last very long in my water. I don't know exactly why. I don't know if it's temperature. I don't know if it's oxygenation, although we've got my power head back there that's spits out the little micro bubbles from time to time. It looks like the crayfish have moved the air stone. Normally that air stone is a little more under the power head, and some bubbles get caught in the power head and get blown around the tank. Either way, I've got the air stone in the tank now. I've got tons of circulation, so there should be, well, you know, plenty of oxygen in the tank. Temperature's a little warmer than it's used to, and then of course the water chemistry is probably a lot different than it's used to. So I'm not sure why they never seem to last in my tanks, but they don't. So we'll see. I've added some minerals to this tank. If you follow along, you'll know that. I'm not going to get into that now, but maybe my new water chemistry in this tank might be enough that allows that little sculpin or whatever it is to thrive and do well in this tank. Anyway you slice it, we'll probably be getting more of them. I catch them fairly regularly. Let's see if we can zoom in on them now from a little more of a distance. I've got a good macro feature on this camera, but it just needs to be able to have enough light to see what it's supposed to be focusing on once I get close enough. So that's probably about as close as we can get right now. It's just not going to get out into a lighted area. This could be some kind of darter. I'm not really familiar with my native fauna around here. There's all kinds of weird little fish in that stream that I've never seen before or have seen my whole life and just don't know what they're called. And as far as I can tell, this looks like a sculpin, and I think in Maryland we only have 1 or 2 species of darter. There's that little crayfish. You can see his little head sticking out. I see his little antennae moving around. I think we only have 1 or 2 species of darter in Maryland, and neither of them are very flashy. So this could be one of the species of darter that's not very flashy. I know just west of me they've got some rainbow darters and some really amazing looking stuff. They remind me a lot of saltwater mandarin, honestly. You know, maybe a little toned down compared to a mandarin, but still pretty interesting nonetheless. This, however, is not brightly colored like that. I've never seen one with anything other than this sort of mottled marking, and in fact that's what I've always referred to it as, is the mottled sculpin. So again, I don't know if that's what that actually is or not, but that's what I think of it as. So if you've got a better idea, or if you think it might be something else, or it could be some kind of darter or something, by all means chime in and go down below. And of course don't forget to look for the link to the Velocity boots and my sealskins socks down below as well. And remember, if you do purchase them through that link, or if you purchase anything on Amazon through any of my links, no matter what it is, if you've gone on to Amazon through one of my links, I actually get a little piece of that pie. So if you shop on Amazon regularly, do me a solid and just go to Amazon through one of my links. It doesn't change anything for you, and it actually hooks me up with a couple of dollars for every purchase you make. So I'm going to go ahead and say thanks in advance for that. I'm also going to say thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget, this one here is my 125-gallon native tank, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.